It's time to say goodbye to this life, Derek.
You will be reincarnated into my world.
Where is that crying coming from? Don't tell me. That was me crying? I'm a baby? How is this possible? I never believed in an afterlife or reincarnation, but... What? I'm me again. The old me. And you?
I'm Soulless. We are one.
I'm dying.
Are you ready to be reborn?
You talking to me, lady?
It's time to say goodbye to this life, Derek.
How do you know my name?
There's no magic in this world, but my world holds power that you can't even imagine.
Listen, lady, I don't know what you're talking about.
You are getting a second chance. You will be reincarnated into my world.
There's a name for those who remember their past lives. They're called the Awakened.
Hi, Leith. I'm your mama.
What? I'm Derek. Who's Leith? Where am I?
Lena, he's beautiful. Healthy baby boy.
Who are you people? Where is that crying coming from? Hang on. Don't tell me. That was me crying? I'm a baby? How is this possible? I never believed in an afterlife or reincarnation, but...
It was not an easy birth. But the baby is strong.
Is he here?
Oh. Yes. Gently.
Careful.
Forward pull, Trista. Don't crowd your brother.
It is quite hot in here.
Oh. Let me get you something, my dear. Glacia!
Derek, now called Leith, watched in wonder as the old woman performed a miracle before his eyes.
Hey, old woman, how did you do that? Was that magic?
Oh, that feels lovely. Thank you, Nana.
Answer me. Someone tell me what's going on.
What's happening? What's happening?
What is this feeling? This power? Am I doing this?
Somniamos!
What? What did you... Sleepy.
He is sleeping now.
What was that?
The child is blessed by the light.
Leith, our baby boy is practicing magic already? Has magic powers? It's a miracle.
Be silent! It is not natural for a child to show an aptitude for magic this early.
Oh, come now. You saw how he was
I saw nothing. Do not speak of this again. Or there may be dire consequences for the boy.
Unlike his past life, young Leith found himself in a loving family.
Hi, Leith.
Mama's gonna be right back. Here, take your toy.
For the most part.
Mine.
Hey, bro, give it back.
Kill him.
Who said that? Hello?
I'm watching you.
Oh, just wait until I learn how to use my magic. How does this work? Come on. Spin.
It was going to take time and patience for Leith to control his abilities. As he grew, Leith practiced using magic every chance he could.
I think I can help Dad.
Ha! Now we're talking. I think I'm getting the hang of this magic stuff.
His father, Raz, encouraged Leith's use of magic.
That's my boy. That's my mage.
He was so proud to have a mage in the family. But Leith's gifts made his brother, Orpal, mad with jealousy.
Magic is evil.
Orpal, don't push your little brother. What's the matter with you?
Orpal, apologize to your brother.
Sorry.
Jerk.
Try this one.
On guard. You don't stand a chance, Leith.
Sister, I've got a lifetime of experience on you.
Tista?
Hang in there, sis.
Leith, sweetheart, can you try using your magic?
I have no idea how to cure her, but
I'll try.
I failed.
It's okay. Thanks for trying, baby brother.
I have to get stronger, more powerful.
I think it's time we visit Nana.
The woman called Nana was the most practiced mage in the village. If anyone could help young Tista, it was her.
This must be where magic happens.
Come this way.
What the hell? Who said that?
Did you just talk?
I know what you are.
What's happening?
You are awakened.
I don't know what you're talking about. I'm just a kid.
Derek, Leith, awakened child, blessed by light. You could be the most powerful mage of all.
How?
Who are you?
What do you think you're doing, young man? That book is not a toy. Why did you pick it up?
What was that voice? There were flames and...
That's enough, Leith. Your imagination just got away with you, that's all.
You heard a voice. What did it say? Speak!
Leith thought it best not to reveal the whole truth.
It just said my name, that's all.
This passage. What does it say?
Water flows from life, fire is a burning rage, dark magic is borrowed. Dark magic requires...
Enough.
He means no harm. He's a smart boy. He just learns very quickly.
No. He has not learned anything. He remembers. He is awakened.
I guess my secret is out.
Awakened? I don't understand. What does this mean?
You've been practicing magic, haven't you? Cast fire. There! Even a spark will do. Outside. I need to talk to your mother alone.
I don't understand. You said Leith is awakened. I've heard stories, but Nana, he is my son.
Our souls are not our own. When we are reborn, we are washed clean to begin anew. Leith, he has memories of his past life. He is your son. But we don't know who he was before coming into this realm.
Please, His abilities are growing day by day. I don't know what to do anymore. You have to help.
He exhibits power beyond anything I've seen in a child of his age. We have no idea who he was before. Good, evil. In the wrong hands, this kind of magic could undo the world.
He's good. I know he is. Please. Nana, help my son.
In 1 year's time, if the boy has not revealed himself to be a dimwit or a malevolent tyrant, bring Leith to me and I will take him on as my apprentice.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yes.
You won't regret this.
Of course. And let's tend to your daughter. Come.
From that day on, Leith was given free rein to practice magic. Unfortunately, as Leith grew stronger, his sister, Tista's condition remained the same. Routine treatments from Nana could only keep the sickness at bay.
That book mentioned a path to power. Dark magic. Forbidden, maybe, but if it can help my sister...
Take its life.
I knew it! I saw what you did. You're using dark magic.
It was an accident.
You're lying.
I wanted to help Tista.
You're evil. I always knew. Ever since you were born.
Orpal, stop. I'm your brother.
You're not my brother. You're some kind of demon. And I won't let you hurt this family.
I tried to warn you.
I will be the most powerful mage this world has ever seen.
You're my brother, Orpal. I don't want to hurt you, but next time you attack me, I won't hold back.
Leith's display of power was effective in getting his brother off his back, for a time. But Orpal found other outlets for his cruelty.
It hurts, Mama.
I know, sweetheart. We're going to Nana's for more treatment tomorrow. You'll feel better then.
We'd all feel better if someone put her out of her misery.
Why'd you say that?
Look at her. She's barely alive, and there's not enough food to go around.
Take it back. Tista's our sister, and she's going to get better.
You're both useless.
Ass.
Despite his callous cruelty, Orpal spoke the truth. There wasn't enough food to go around.
Any luck?
Nothing. There's just no game to hunt.
That was the last of our food reserves. What if you go to the king's hunting ground? You could try going into the Tron Woods.
Elena, you know entering is forbidden. If I'm caught, they'll hang me. Then what?
If we do nothing, our children starve.
I know! I know. I'll go back out, keep searching. Maybe I could trade for food in town. I will think of something.
I didn't get reborn just to starve to death.
Leith was determined to find food, even if it meant venturing into the Forbidden Woods.
Stay calm. You've got magic. Okay, maybe this was a bad idea. Time to go. If that's a rye wolf, I'm as good as dead.
Hey kid, get down!
I'm alive. Cool.
Let go!
Easy there, kid.
You almost killed me.
I just saved you. You would have been ripped to shreds if I hadn't been here. A thank you would be nice.
I had it under control.
Sure you did. What's a little imp like you doing in the Tron's woods anyway? You lost?
I was hunting.
Really? You know hunting in the King's Wood is forbidden, punishable by death.
Then why are you here?
Because I neither fear the laws of kings nor the claws of beasts. The name's Celia.
You best be running home to your mother, little imp. I'm on the hunt and can't spend all day playing wet nurse.
Wait. Teach me how to hunt.
Why would I do that?
I have magic. I can help.
I have no use for parlor tricks. Get lost, little imp.
How's that for a parlor trick?
Over the next few weeks, the huntress Celia took Leith as an apprentice.
Cut here. You don't want to waste anything.
She taught him how to butcher an animal, how to trap, how to hunt. Leith proved to be a fast learner.
Not bad, little imp.
My little hunter. We're so proud of you, Leith.
Thanks for catching such yummy food, Leith. I used my magic to find the animals. It's the least I could do.
Orpal, what's gotten into you?
Not eating it.
What did you say?
Not eating anything he killed with his evil magic.
There's nothing wrong with it. I'm eating it too.
Like I trust you. I know what you are. And one day, I'm going to stop you.
Enough! If Orpal won't accept the kindness of his brother, he can just go hungry.
Leith knew he needed to get stronger, or risk another attack from his jealous brother.
Okay, let's see what this body can do. Damn, I forgot how weak children are. I need more power.
One day, while Leith was hunting, he heard a familiar voice.
This way.
Hello? Who's there?
Find me.
Hello? Talking rock?
Soulless.
What?
I am called Soulless. At least, I was.
Then how did you end up like this?
It will be easier to show you. There was once a great tower in these woods, centuries ago. I was the master of this tower, and a master of the magical arts. I bound my soul to the tower in order to enhance my strength and preserve my spirit.
I found the witch!
I was murdered, but thanks to my magic, my spirit survived, linked to the tower. Countless years passed, and the tower eroded into nothing but pebbles. Neither of us are as we appear. Now, all that remains of the tower, of me, is that small stone.
So why do you call out to me?
I need a host if I'm to survive much longer. Someone strong in the ways of magic.
Sounds like a leech.
I assure you, the benefits would be mutual. If you agree to bind your soul with mine, I can grant you incredible power.
I'm listening.
One night, when the rest of the family was out, Leith stayed home to perform the soul-bonding ritual.
Open your mind, free your spirit, and we shall shall become one.
Hold out your hand.
What? I'm me again. The old me. And you?
I am Soulless. Should I call you Derek? Are you all right?
I'm sorry. I just... Leith is fine, I guess. I'm used to it by now. I never really liked Derek anyway.
For our bond to take hold, we must know each other. Intimately.
Intimately. That's good. I mean, you're a very beautiful magician, lady, and it's been ages since I... How would this even work? I mean, is this real? How would we even physically...
We are one.
Derek's soul became forever linked with the spirit of the Solless Stone.
Time to put you to the test.
Ready when you are. Go on. Admit it.
Incredible.
Leith's power had increased tremendously overnight. His new abilities did not go unnoticed. The Solless Stone offered more than the power to destroy.
Tista? Leith? I feel so good. How did you... Your hair.
Leith's healing abilities improved as well, with some minor cosmetic side effects.
I like it.
Orpal's jealousy had finally pushed him over the edge.
Orpal, I got your note. Why are we meeting way out here? Hello? Where are you?
Leith wandered out into the woods, where he expected to meet his brother.
This feels like a trap.
Orpal wouldn't be so stupid. He's seen what I can do.
Gotcha now!
Hey!
Ha! I got your magic stone.
Orpal thought the Solless Stone was the source of Leith's power, and that he would be helpless without it.
Take that!
Stop, please. I don't want to hurt you.
Hurt me, please. I took your magic, and now I'm going to take your life.
Orpal couldn't have been more wrong.
Fine, have it your way.
Did you really think you could take my power? I warned you, Orpal. No more second chances! Ah! Mom!
Oh, Leith! Oh, God! Oh, God! Oh, what happened? Who did this to you?
How could you? To your own brother!
Just let me explain.
I thought we taught you better than this.
He's lying. You can't trust him.
Sit down. Leith has done nothing but help this family. He provides food. He heals your sister.
It's all a trick. He's only doing it to make me look bad.
Orpal's desperate begging fell on deaf ears.
Orpal, do you hear yourself? This has to stop.
I will never stop. I know Leith is evil, and I will die before I accept him as my brother.
Enough! You've left me no choice. Orpal, you are unfit to be a member of this family.
Raz.
I cast you from my sight. You are disowned. Banished. No longer my son. Go. Don't come back.
You could have killed him. It was kind of you to spare your brother's life.
It wasn't kindness. Death is quick. I want him to suffer.
Leith had managed to rid himself of his cruel brother.
It will be okay, Mother.
But Orpal's banishment brought the family great sadness. Leith went to Nana, seeking advice.
Oh, Leith! My, how you've grown. Have you been practicing your magic?
What do you think?
Very good. Very good.
Nana, how did you learn magic?
Oh, I was a student at the Griffin Academy.
This was the first Leith had heard of any sort of formal school.
They teach magic at this academy?
They teach everything. And should you excel as my apprentice, you can go there too to become the most powerful mage like me. You still want to be my apprentice, don't you?
Leith wanted to improve his magic more than anything, but his family needed him. Could he really afford to leave?
Hello there!
Step aside, peasant.
The boy gave off an air of superiority that made Leith's blood boil.
Leith, this is Baron Trahan. He's our regional lord.
May I introduce my son, Ricker?
Hello, my lady. I've heard you're the finest mage in the land.
What a dweeb.
Very nice. But when you're using creation magic, it is important that you focus all of the elements on the illusion. This has no aroma. What good is beauty without substance?
Ricker shows a great aptitude for magic. He'll be honored to study as your apprentice. The Trahan family will be most grateful.
Yes, I am aware of how the Trahan family expresses your gratitude with a bag of gold in one hand and a knife in the other.
Well, if you understand the offer, then I suppose the choice is yours.
The Trahan family was well known for their ruthlessness. A person could either submit or die. Leith was surprised to see how calm Nana remained in the face of one of the most feared men in the land.
While I deeply appreciate your most generous offer, I must decline.
Why?
I have already taken an apprentice. Isn't that right, Leith?
Well, this worm? He is a peasant. I am a Trahan. You should be begging for me to be...
You have agreed to take an apprentice. We will, of course, respect your decision.
But the Baron would not take no for an answer.
However, would it not be prudent to ensure that your pupil was worthy of your teaching?
What did you have in mind?
A competition. Let's see which of the boys shows the most promise. The winner will be your apprentice.
Well?
If this brat wants a magic fight, I'll give him a magic fight.
I accept.
Splendid.
Go easy on him.
Not a chance.
Leith, Ricker, you are to take turns demonstrating your magical abilities on these barrels. Leith, you're up first. Begin!
How about some earth magic?
Leith started off strong with some impressive magic. But to his surprise, Ricker had a few tricks up his sleeve.
Not bad, peasant. Let me show you some real magic.
Despite his bad attitude, Ricker had skill.
Well done.
He's good.
Not now, Soulless.
Leith focused his aura, channeling all his frustration into a powerful blast. In one swift move, it appeared as though Ricker had secured his spot as Nana's apprentice.
Well, I think that about settles it.
Show them what you can really do.
Fluxos.
All his practice, combined with the power of the Solless Stone, put Leith on another level.
Well, I'd say that pretty much settles it.
And so, Leith secured his spot as Nana's apprentice. Finally, the day came for Leith to begin his apprenticeship under Nana.
This is for you. It was my father's.
Thank you, Father.
Leith, good luck.
Thanks.
But when Leith left for Nana's shack, a new threat emerged.
Wait, something's wrong. Stop.
That can't be good.
You there! Are you the boy called Leith, son to Raz and Alina?
Lie.
I am. Who are you?
Go home, boy. You are to decline your apprenticeship.
Says who?
Baron Trahan.
Baron Trahan.
This is your final warning. Turn around and go back the way you came.
Even with his magic, Leith wasn't sure he could take them all. But there was no way in hell he was turning back now.
Ligara!
Leith quickly subdued the knight captain with an enchanted vine, but the other knights were too fast. Just as the knight raised his sword to deliver a fatal blow,
Get back!
Leith unleashed a powerful lightning blast, paralyzing his attackers. The once proud knight captain was now terrified of the young boy before him.
That bastard!
Leith hurried to Nana to report the attack.
I am so sorry, Leith. I should have known the Baron would try something like this. It never occurred to me that he would be so bold and so stupid.
It's all right, Nana. I used my magic.
Oh, well, it just seems that loyal friendships are a rare commodity these days. Oh. Do you know what this is? Each one of the members of the Mages Association receive an enchanted amulet like this one. These are how we communicate. I'll just be a minute. Don't touch anything, all right?
Suddenly, the room was enveloped in darkness, and a strange figure appeared.
Greetings, sister.
I have taken an apprentice. There was an attack on his life at the hands of Baron Trahan.
The Order shall handle his demise.
My thanks.
Anything else to report?
This apprentice, I think he might be the one we've been looking for.
He? You suggest that a male could be the one?
I'm not sure, but all the signs are there.
Interesting. Keep us apprised of his progress.
Thank you, brother.
What was that?
Did you see what transpired?
No, but I could hear some of it.
Oh, well, that's good. That means you're progressing.
What did that man mean? About me being a boy? Are boys not supposed to have magic?
Well, no, historically speaking, women have a much greater gift at the mystic arts than boys.
So I'm always going to be weaker than all the girls?
Not necessarily. There are exceptions.
What did you mean when you said, the one we've been looking for?
Every few generations, a rare child is born with rare abilities beyond anything any of us could ever achieve. A magic wielder with the power to transform the foundations of the earth. A god among men. The supreme mages.
Nana smiled, pleased by the question. The magic community, just like any society, has a clear hierarchy. First, there are regular people. Anyone is capable of using chore magic, but their range barely reaches 6 feet, and they are incapable of executing complex tasks or spells. Then there are those like you, who can use all 6 elements and can perform complex tasks using magic, but who lack proper magical training. They are referred to as magico if they're males, or magica if they're females, and are the true base of the magical pyramid since they're the ones that can engender magically talented offspring. And, even if it's uncommon, a magica can sometimes be accepted by a magic academy and become a full-fledged magician. That's what happened to me. A magico usually becomes a medicine man in a village or city, depending on his talent. A magico becoming a magician is even more uncommon, but it's not unheard of. Terms like mage, witch, sorceress, and warlock are all just different words that identify someone that managed to enroll in a magic academy and complete the 5 years curriculum necessary to recognize a true member of the magic community. At that point, you're free to pursue your own ambitions. If you enjoy life at court, you can become a noble's personal mage. Or you can choose to devote your life to studying magic or creating magical artifacts. But as long as you don't achieve anything significant to the development of the kingdom or the Mage Association, you'll always remain just a mage, no matter how powerful or accomplished you are. Remember, no mage can be forced to share their spells or magical discoveries with others. Not even the king himself can violate this rule. But if you choose to reveal your secrets, they have no worth in society, and you don't get any merits. Only by sharing your knowledge or by using it to perform tasks from which the kingdom or the Magic Association receive great benefit can you be elevated to the status of Archmage. The Archmage is the equivalent of a duke or a marquis in the magic world. And finally, on top of the pyramid is the Magus. A Magus is someone whose power is equal to his outstanding merits toward the community and the knowledge he has shared with the Magical Association. A Magus is usually someone who ensures that those who come after them have a deeper understanding of magic and a better education. A Magus is a king to the mages and a god to men. Very rarely have there been more than one at the same time. When that happens, it's considered to be a golden age where anything is possible.
After the explanation, Leith was far from impressed.
So basically, it's just a fancy title some self-serving parasites put on you after milking you dry. It seems that the process of becoming a magus is just a sad and pathetic affair.
Nana said, outraged by the disrespect.
Without magi like Locra and her peers, people like me would have never gotten the chance to pass the entrance exam of any academy. Without her, magical education would have remained a privilege only for those with outstanding talent, or who come from noble or magical families. By simply writing that book, she willingly sacrificed a great advantage she had over her peers and leveled the playing field.
Undeterred, Leith shook his head.
I see it differently, Master. In my opinion, you have outstanding talent. However, if someone as gifted as you couldn't get accepted, in the long run, it would have led the magical community to dwindle or completely disappear. Being born in a wealthy or talented family only gives you more resources and access to schooling, but the talent is decided at birth. That's why Locra wrote the book. It wasn't out of the goodness of her heart, but the correct and egregious and dangerous flaw in the magical community. Magic indeed allows quality to supersede quantity, but if the old system were still in place, there'd be almost no mages around today. Without people like you or even me, there wouldn't be enough mages in the world, and the magic would disappear sooner or later. This is the reason why we can't see her book as a gift. She badly needed us.
Nana opened her mouth to rebuke Leith, but stopped halfway. She pondered what she'd just heard.
Whatever your mother fed you as a baby, I'd wish I'd had it too when I was your age. I never looked at it from that perspective, and yet I could see that you speak the truth. She sighed with regret. I wish I'd been more thoughtful in the past. I would have avoided so many stupid mistakes. It's the same everywhere, Leith thought. Only the willfully blind could miss it. No one does anything out of the goodness of their heart. Scholarships are a way for the rich to feel better about themselves. A lottery ticket for the poor. That's it. The door of Nana's waiting room opened, and the first client of the day arrived. Time to make some money, she said. Do you have any other questions? She asked him. Only one. I may need to take notes. Is there anything I could use? Certainly. After confirming that the woman and child that had just entered were there for a routine checkup, Nana told them to wait one moment. She went with Leith to the study and gave him a big, thick notebook. Its pages were empty. This will be your first grimoire. Treasure it dearly. Paper is rare and expensive by nature. It's sold by weight, and it's even more precious than silver. Leith was stunned by the news. The book was 10.7 inches long, 6.7 inches large, and 1.2 inches thick. It was a huge thing. For a moment, Leith was speechless. I don't know what to say. I can't believe you would do such a thing for me. It must have cost you a fortune. I'm deeply moved. A tear appeared in the corner of his eyes. Nana laughed heartedly. So wise and yet so naive, she said. I would have never given you such an expensive thing. Money doesn't grow on trees. I would have given you a few pages, no more. The warmth in his heart died as quickly as it had appeared. Then who gave me this? Count Lark, of course. He's a magical enthusiast. He sent it to me as soon as he was informed of your apprenticeship. Now, go on and study. You're not here to chat. Nana left in a hurry to tend to her patients. Leith sat back behind the desk and resumed reading. He already knew most of the contents in Lockra's book. He had discovered all the spells listed there by himself, through a lot of training and countless experiments. He sighed with regret. If only I'd had this book as soon as I was reborn. I wonder how powerful I would be today. Whenever Leith found something noteworthy, he wrote it down in his grimoire. However, since he had terrible handwriting, he dipped his fingers in the inkwell and used water magic to spread the ink on the page before drying it. The result was a whole page written with beautiful calligraphy. He even copied illustrations when necessary. For private things, he used English. Leith smiled to himself. I don't need a secret code. I'm the only one who knows English in this world. My secrets are safe in my grimoire. They would be safe either way, Solless said. Don't forget my pocket dimension. An additional layer of protection couldn't hurt. You can't be too careful these days. Leith found the sections about fire, water, air, and earth boring. He already knew most everything written in the book. Still, he read every word carefully. Nana allowed him to read until lunchtime. After that, he was forced to go back home and resume his previous routine, switching up hunting from morning to afternoon. It took him 3 days to get to the juicy part of the book. Leith was aware that, being self-taught, light and dark magic were his blind spots. After all, they were the only two elements that didn't exist on Earth. He spent a whole week in the light and dark section, taking countless notes and realizing how rough his technique and mastery over those elements were. Amazing. Simply amazing. It never ceases to impress me how deep Lockra's understanding of light and darkness is. Her description of the mana flow on a patient's body is just flawless. I would have never thought of that on my own. And I finally understand why she put them together in the same section. Light and darkness are not separate elements, but two sides of the same coin. Darkness is vital to healing diseases and congenital conditions. And once I have fully absorbed all this knowledge, I might even be able to cure Tista permanently. And if I manage to do that, I'll rethink my views of becoming a Magus, he thought. Leith read that chapter again and again until he became certain he had not missed a single word. His power hadn't increased much in the last couple of days, but his understanding of all 6 elements was now unmatched. Leith was also sure that he was going to be able to strengthen his magical foundations and improve his spirit infusion magic as well. But with his newfound confidence, new doubts also appeared. The more I learn, the less it makes sense. How is it possible that with all this knowledge, Nana hasn't been able to cure Tista? And why did she need both hand signs and a magic word to kill Baronet Trahan and his son? A finger snap should have sufficed, he thought. Leith decided to put those questions on hold until he had a deeper understanding of Lockra's book. Perhaps he was missing some key elements, or maybe it wasn't as simple as it looked. Nana was delighted to learn that he had finished the whole book in just a week, and immediately gave him his first Tier 1 magic spellbook.
Let's see you're as good at practicing magic as you are at learning its theory,
she said. Leith delicately took the book from her hands, as if it was a precious gemstone that could easily break. He then walked back to his desk and opened the book, full of anticipation. Instead, a wave of disappointment invaded him.
Is this what a spellbook is supposed to look like?
He thought.
It looks awful,
Solless interjected. Both Leith and Solless were too shocked to utter another word. He closed the book and reopened it. It remained the same. Leith had expected it to be filled with instructions on how a mage should manipulate the mana flow in their body, or how to better connect with the world energy needed in order to obtain spells with greater power. Instead, all he had was an odd mix of a spell book with a hand signs instruction manual. He also realized that he already knew all of these spells, albeit with different names than those he had invented over time.
Blasting sphere is just a fireball, and piercing ice is identical to my frost lance.
Leith went back to the book's foreword and discovered that it had not been written by a magus. It was just a collection of the most common spells. He read the instructions to do a blasting sphere and noticed how the author stressed the importance of executing the hand signs in the proper order and with precise movements. All the magic words were split into syllables to help the student learn the correct pronunciation and accent. After skimming through the whole book, Leith couldn't find any mention on how to perform them using silent magic. Utterly confused, Leith went to Nana for advice.
I'm sorry, Leith. I had forgotten how frustrating and painful it is going from the simple and easy silent chore magic to the more complex real magic. Only Tier 0 magic can be cast silently. All the other tiers require hand signs and saying the spells out loud.
Leith's head was spinning so fast that he had to sit down for a moment.
That makes no sense at all, he thought. I use silent magic with my ice spears and fireballs all the time. I wouldn't be alive otherwise.
A silent thought erupted in his mind.
Maybe I am special after all. Maybe I use different kinds of magic because I came from Earth. Maybe I am some sort of chosen one.
Leith was both scared and excited by the idea.
None of the above,
Solless said, dampening his enthusiasm.
Gee, thanks for the support. What's your explanation then? If my hypothesis is correct, then you, like Lockra Silverwind and all the other past and present magi, are one of the few people in this world who can actually use true magic.
Leith was shocked by Solless's statement.
What do you mean by true magic?
He thought.
At this point, it's too early to tell. But if you're curious, I can take a peek at your mind right now, although I don't know if that's going to be any help.
Leith merged his mind with Solless's. Her mind was full of ifs and buts, constantly examining facts, revisiting memories, and making lots of speculations.
What can I do to have more certainty? He asked. I need 2 things. First, get me all the books about the history of magic you can find. Second, we need to get out of here and do some experiments. I'll explain everything later.
Leith went to Nana, asking for the books.
Yeah, I have a magic history book, she said. But it's not an interesting topic, so it only covers the last couple 100 years. Would that work?
Leith shook his head.
Could you please contact Count Lark and ask him if he has any more, and, if so, if I can borrow them? You're a weird boy, Nana said. First, you begged me to teach you magic. I never begged,
Leith said.
It's you who offered to teach me and I accepted.
Nana pretended not to have heard him.
And now that you got the opportunity to practice real magic, you want to bury yourself in history books? After thinking about everything you told me and what Magus Lockra wrote, I realized that I need to dig into the past to understand the present and plan the future,
Leith said.
Makes sense, I guess,
Nana said.
I'll contact Lark via the communication amulet and see what I can do. The Count has one too?
Leith asked, surprised.
It's not some sort of secret or anything. Nobles, merchants, soldiers, no matter your background, as long as you can pay for one, you can get one.
Leith thanked Nana and returned to the study room. The history book Nana had was very detailed,
recording both historical returning points and lore. Leith didn't know what Solless was looking for, so he read carefully, skimming only the parts about conflicts between countries and magic associations. He focused his attention on studying the life of influential mages, archmages, and magi. After spending a few hours researching the past, he had already found a recurring pattern in the rise of the magi. Some of them were recognized as geniuses at an early age. Most of them, however, started their lives being considered mediocre at best, never achieving anything important until, at some point in their lives, their talent simply skyrocketed. It usually happened when they were between 30 and 40 years old. By that time, they were already past their supposed prime and were forgotten by the magical community. The book's author had no idea why such a drastic change happened so late in their lives, but he presented some of the most popular theories that read more like fiction than verified historical facts. For example, the book said that, according to some rumors, Magus had married the god of magic in secret, while others claimed that she had found a mystical amulet from a lost civilization that was able to grant her unlimited mana. The same had allegedly happened to the Magus Morgania and Magus Fregic. An obscure start, followed by a sudden rise in power and glory, with no plausible explanations other than fairy tales and divine encounters.
Could this be what you're looking for?
Leith asked Solless.
Maybe what changed them wasn't some stroke of luck, but the discovery of true magic as you put it before.
Leith was about to close the book, but Solless stopped him.
Stop. Turn to the next page, please,
she said. Leith didn't know why she wanted to keep looking at the book, but did as instructed. The next page was about some conflicts in a faraway place in which many low-ranked mages had. Solless told him to keep turning every page until the book was over. By the time they were done, it was already lunchtime, so Leith started walking back home.
Did you find anything important?
He asked.
Yes, I think so,
Solless said.
I just need us to perform some experiments to put my theory to the test. If I'm right, once you're able to experience the difference between fake and true magic, you'll understand my reasoning. And I hope that once you do, you can help fill me in the gaps I'm unable to explain.
Leith's mind and heart were in turmoil. He felt uneasy and couldn't focus on anything. He was tired of all the secrecy. Even spending time with his family wasn't enough to cheer him up.
First, I have to hide my true self. Then spirit magic, fusion magic, and now this? How many secrets do I have to keep to protect myself from this world? To protect my family? He thought. Why couldn't I just find a magical hammer? Or some amulet that would grant me godlike powers? Or maybe just be handpicked by an ancient magician to become the champion of this world? Why does everything have to be so complicated? I love my family, but I hate that I can't be completely honest with them. At this rate, I will never have friends, a lover, or anything else. I will be forced to spend my life alone with my secrets. No, not alone,
Solless said, her voice full of kindness and affection. The stone around Leith's neck pulsed, releasing gentle waves of mana that enveloped his body like a warm embrace. This made Leith's mood lighten a little bit. He was able to have a pleasant meal with his family, telling each other about their day. After doing the dishes, he went to the Tron Woods. Leith had his own special glade, deep in the woods, a place big enough to train without endangering the local wildlife and away from prying eyes. Once he got there, he and Solless checked their surroundings to see if there were any intruders or magical beasts. There were none. Leith took out his grimoire from the pocket dimension and started memorizing the simplest Tier 1 spell he had found in Nana's book.
We don't need something powerful or complex for our experiments. Only something that we can compare with your spells. The faster you master it, the sooner we will have our answers,
Solless explained. The chosen spell was Piercing Ice, a watered-down version of the Ice Spear spell that Leith had already used against the likes of the Rye or wild boars. Its magic word was Joruna Laita, with emphasis on the U in Joruna and the I in Laita. As for hand signs, he needed to make his index fingers touch at the tips. Then, he pulled them away and drew a 7 in the air with the right index finger, while the left one had to perform a mirrored movement at the same time. After that, the left hand stopped moving while the right index finger had to rotate, drawing a full circle before aiming at the target.
The expected outcome was conjuring and shooting a gigantic ice shard against an enemy. How can this be considered a simple spell? Leith said. So much effort for so little return. On his first try, Leith managed to conjure some kind of giant fork that traveled forward for a couple of feet before crashing on the ground. You did not say the spell right, Solless said. On the second try, he conjured a boomerang that almost chopped his head off. You're still not saying it right, Solless remarked. After a series of failed attempts, Leith had to admit he wasn't able to learn the correct pronunciation of the spell and the hand signs at the same time. So, he sat down and recited the spell repeatedly until he got it right. After that, it was time to master the hand signs. It was not easy. That's not a 7. It looks more like a 1. You're supposed to draw a circle, not an egg. Stop moving your left hand during the last movement. Otherwise, we'll never be able to do it. Attempt after attempt, Solless kept nagging Leith, correcting the many mistakes he made each time. If you're so good, why don't you do it yourself? Leith finally said with frustration. I would if I had a body, Solless replied. It was a long and exhausting afternoon full of cursing, sweating, and anger before he finally managed to get the spell right. He kept repeating it until he mastered it. I can't believe I had to work so hard for such a simple spell. The sun is going to set soon. Do you think we still have enough time today, or do we come back tomorrow? He asked Solless. We have more than enough time. Tell me, how does it feel using magic that way? I don't feel it at all. I'm so focused on all the stupid techniques that I can barely breathe. Perfect, Solless said. Now cast your ice spear spell. Conjure only one spear. Leith was so tired that he needed to say the magic word aloud. Jorun! With a flick of his wrist, Leith conjured a slender, sharp ice javelin that stuck the nearest tree faster and harder than the piercing ice. Now focus. How did you manage that? Solless asked. Leith didn't understand what she was getting at, but he trusted her to know that there was a point to all of this. Like I usually do. First, I mentally visualized the form of my spell and its effect. Things like the spear's shape, its trajectory, etc. Then I used my mana core to generate enough mana to support my spell, considering the size of the spear I want to conjure and how strong I need its impact to be. Finally, I project my mana to the outside, mixing it with the world energy to have access to the water element, and bam, it's done. Now try using piercing ice again, Solless said. This time do it slowly. Try to feel how your mana flows in relation to the spell. After a few tries, Leith managed to do what Solless had asked. The result was astonishing. Wow! As soon as I started with the hand signs, a portion of my mana leaves my body. But that's not all. The magic word determines how my mana interacts with the world energy, in this case, the water element, while also giving the spell its shape and size. Leith could tell that Solless was satisfied. You're almost at the end. Do piercing ice again, but try making the shard bigger, she said. I can't, Leith said. If I try adding more mana, the spell becomes unstable and dissipates. Solless then asked him to try a series of things. First, she asked him to cast a second ice shard, then to make the single shard faster, and finally, to alter its trajectory right after it materialized. Leith's answer remained the same. I can't. The spell is set in stone. Once I learned the proper signs and pronunciation, I became nothing more than a mana source and a targeting system. My mana core and my mind played no part in this type of spell casting, he said. That's when Leith understood everything. That's why you consider it fake magic, he said. I wouldn't exactly call it fake magic, but let's leave it at that to keep things simple, she said. Now I can finally share my theory with you. First of all, I'd like you to think of all the steps you need to do to use true magic. Solless paused for a moment, giving Leith some time to think. What's your point? He asked. My point is that what you so casually dismiss as usual is actually a much more complex process, much harder than fake magic. Sorry, I don't follow you, he said. True magic isn't as simple as you make it out to be. It requires you to be aware of your own mana core and to be able to generate the right amount for every spell. Too much mana and it backfires on you. Too little and it fails. It also requires you to be able to project your mana externally, reaching out to the world energy by yourself. I doubt even someone like Nana would be able to do that. Leith found that last part hard to believe. When you put it that way, it does sound like a complex process. But it's what everyone does when they use chore magic. What's the difference between true and chore magic? Why does no one else use it? The difference is in the amount of mana required. Chore mana needs little mana, so you use it without even activating your mana core, while true magic requires greater amounts of mana, depending on what you're trying to conjure, Solless said. Solless felt that Leith was still struggling to understand, so she tried to make her explanation simpler. Chore magic is the very foundation of magic. It teaches you everything you need to know except how to activate the mana core. Fake magic is like a crutch, a magic for dummies spellcasting method. You only need to learn a few words and gestures, and as long as you have enough mana, it does everything for you. My theory is that chore and fake magic are taught in this order as training courses toward true magic, but only a few, like the magi, understand that true magic is not about hand movements and spells. It's about perceiving the mana flow and learning how to control it. Your breathing exercises are a crutch as well, but a good one, since they helped you in accessing your mana core and made you aware of the mana flow. Fake magic, on the other hand, is a bad crutch, since it makes its user completely dependent on its power. Most fake magic users are so obsessed with details, like hand signs and correct pronunciation, that they live their whole lives without noticing what lies beyond. Fake mages, especially those with great talent, become so complacent about being able to do what no one else can do that they never bother to look beyond and challenge themselves further. It's a waste of talent.
Leith was shocked. Everything Solless had said made perfect sense.
This sounds perfect. But what are the gaps in your theory you mentioned earlier? He asked. There are some key points of my theory that I can't answer, she said, embarrassed. If my theory is right, why is fake magic the only one widely available? Why do true mages kill whoever tries spreading true magic to the whole world? Excuse me? Leith asked.
Solless merged their minds and showed Leith all the things she had noticed while reading the history book. How so many theorists and rising mages had died in mysterious accidents, often right after announcing a groundbreaking theory. Others were dismissed as frauds, went mad, and vanished. At this, Leith laughed heartily.
Solless, you're so smart and yet so naive to the ways of mankind. The answer is really simple. Would you let any madman or naive fool get his hands on this kind of power? Fake magic is a way to control the masses. After one discovers true magic, the final test is showing that you're smart enough to silently join the elite club and reap the benefits. And if you don't like the club's rules, the only way out is death.
When they finished discussing Solless's theory about true magic, it was already late. Leith rushed out of the woods before it became too dark. He wasn't afraid of nocturnal predators, but his mother was another story.
If I get home too late, I'll get grounded for weeks. I hate to have a curfew.
He did not want to come back home empty-handed, so he took a couple of fat blinkers he had saved for moments like this out of the pocket dimension. The next morning, Nana informed Leith that the Count had agreed to help, and that some of his best books were already on the way to him. But until their arrival, Leith had to pretend to be engrossed in Nana's history book. He also spent that day writing all the Tier 1 spells in his grimoire, keeping only the name, hand signs, pronunciation instructions, and a short description for each one. I don't need to waste precious pages on this stuff. I can fake the hand signs by moving my hands fast, but I still need to remember the correct words when I pretend to use fake magic. Also, if Nana wants to test me, I need to show her that I'm making real progress. But all this pointless memorization is driving me crazy. The only silver lining is that if I learn this stuff, it'll be easier to predict an enemy's spell and counter it if necessary. More than once, Leith wished Solless could take control of his body and mind. She had a superior memory, saving him a lot of time. The only spell Leith was eager to try was the air magic one called Floating Body. With this spell, one could make anything or anyone float mid-air, as long as the person or object weighed less than 220 pounds. The spell had many uses, like breaking a free fall, moving a severely injured patient without risk, or moving silently without leaving a trace or making any noise. It was a vital spell for a hunter, no matter if the prey was animal or human. Floating was something that Leith had attempted many times on his own, with no success. He could easily make others float using spirit magic, but he couldn't make himself float.
It was really hard balancing his whole body while focusing on the spell. The same could be said about using air magic instead of spirit magic. A minor mistake would make him float upside down or spin uncontrollably. Leith never managed to float properly, let alone move. If Solless is right and fake magic is a training course, I can use this floating body spell as a stepping stone to learn how to float for good. Then, the most natural step would be to upgrade it to a flight spell. I can't wait to soar through the skies like a mighty bird, he thought. After lunch, Leith went back to the woods and started practicing. The words to conjure the floating body spell were Breza Relak, which didn't present any issue for him. The hand signs, however, were very difficult to master. Having learned from his mistakes, Leith first made sure to get the magic word right before moving on to the hand signs. He took it easy and slow. He didn't need to learn to cast it quickly. He only needed to understand how the spell distributed the energy. After a few tries, Leith managed to cast the floating body spell properly. Floating made him feel odd, much different from what he had expected. Floating didn't require just one strong air current, but hundreds of them at the same time. Each current pushed him upwards with the same force needed to keep the balance in check. This is not as good as I'd anticipated. No wonder I've always failed in the past. Now, according to the book, floating body makes me weightless, but in order to move, I need either external support or air chore magic. Leith conjured weak winds that made him move around like a drone. This feels much better. This spell has so many applications. It's weird that it belongs to the Tier 1 category. It's very elaborate and complex. But it lasts for a minute, Solless said as Leith fell to the ground. After experimenting with the spell a few more times, Leith used his own mana flow to try and replicate it. However, it soon became apparent that he wouldn't be able to master it in a single afternoon. Solless had been right. True magic was more difficult and complex than its fake counterpart. Angry and frustrated, Leith complained non-stop. It's so annoying to have to learn 2 kinds of magic for every spell. I'm telling you, Solless, I'm seriously considering just using floating body. But if I do that, I'll be forced to learn all its upper tier versions, and who knows when the actual flight spell will come along. But doing it my way with real magic means that, once I get some solid foundations, everything should come easy. At least I hope so. Leith spent the whole day practicing his new spell, levitation, but when morning came, he hadn't succeeded yet. The following day, a small crate of books was delivered to Nana's house. She gave them to Leith. If they were mine, I would never allow you to take them out of my house, but the Count said that you're free to bring them home if you want. Lark is a very generous man, but don't push it too far, she said. Leith was dismayed when he saw the books. He had completely forgotten about them, and now he was flooded with useless books that he had pretended to read. But then, he noticed that there weren't many history books. Most of them were biographies of past and present mages, archmages, and magi. He finally had the information he needed to see how much talent he could safely reveal to the world. Leith finally saw a glimmer of hope in his dark life. So far, his apprenticeship had only added more problems. Now, these books could help him solve at least one of these problems. For once, he felt really good about himself. He took notes in his grimoire of all the feats these mages accomplished, and at what age they had managed to do it. Now, he had decided how much he could reveal of himself. I have no social status and no powerful backer. Mimicking a Magus would be a death wish. In fact, just revealing a little bit of talent put a target on my back. If I display more, I would be on the hit lists of all the major families, he thought. Agreed, Solless said. The best choice for you is to keep yourself just below Nana's talent. If you obtain Count Lark's protection, then you can go higher. A male mage with big talent would definitely be noteworthy. After all, we'll see how things develop and adjust accordingly. My thoughts exactly, Leith said. During the following weeks, when he was at Nana's house, Leith and Solless split the tasks at hand. Leith crammed all the Tier 1 spells, while Solless read the Count's books and took note of every relevant detail. Leith gave her control over spirit and water magic, making it possible for her to flip books and write on the grimoire. Every afternoon, they went to the woods and tried to make levitation work. Little by little, they were ironing out all the kinks, sometimes even improving on the floating body spell. Leith finally mastered levitation after a month of hard work. By that time, he He had also already perfected all the Tier 1 spells, but he was forced to wait to show his new abilities. According to the Count's books, that was a feat worthy of a future Archmage. After waiting for another half-month, Leith finally revealed to Nana the fruit of his endeavors. She was very impressed by Leith's skill and determination. Nana had told him that when she was his age, she had memorized the book in less than a month, and despite Leith being a lesser talent than her, he had managed to accomplish the same results in only 2 more weeks than she had. Nana had expected him to take 2 months to memorize the book, so she was pleased with the faster outcome. Nana also offered him the chance to assist her during her busy hours, and Leith gladly accepted. With his new responsibilities, he hadn't been able to go hunting for over a month. The game reserve that he kept in his pocket dimension was almost depleted, and he wasn't earning any money. Leith needed to make up for lost time. Officially, he only knew 2 Tier 1 spells, Venire Rad 2, to detect injuries and diseases, and Venire Dan, a basic healing spell that treated coughs, light colds, and superficial cuts. Most of the time, he only got the diagnosis fee since Nana was the one treating the patients. He healed minor injuries, but still, his earnings weren't bad. Nana's business was very popular with people from all neighboring villages coming to seek her aid. By spending more time in the front office, Leith discovered that Nana was so much more than a healer to the people of Lutia. She was also their protector and the strongest law enforcer. Because she simply lived there, most bandits avoided the village. Those who were brave enough to attack were quickly disposed of before doing any real harm. Nana also served as a shield to all the local merchants in the village. No foreign person or young noble could bully the people of Lutia without incurring her wrath. Sometimes, she was even called to end a drunken brawl. Leith found it hard to believe that she was so eager to help the people in the village whenever it was necessary. One day, after Nana had taught a lesson to a young noble and his bodyguards who had believed that he could take advantage of any maiden that suited his taste, Leith decided to find out the truth. Nana had already proven that she cared more about money than anything else in the world. Leith had more than once fallen for her act as a kind old woman, so he wanted to know what her real angle was. But being rude to his mentor was a terrible idea, so he decided to use a subtler approach.
Master, I don't know how to express my admiration for you. Taking care of the village's safety and asking nothing in return is just an amazing act of kindness, he said.
Nana laughed out loud.
You're hilarious, kid. Sometimes you're so wise that I almost forget that you're just 6 years old. But whenever you come out with this nonsense, you look like a naive child. Of course, I get something in return. Have you ever wondered why my treatments are so expensive? I'd wondered about that, but I always thought those were normal fares a healer charged.
After saying that, Leith felt silly and naive.
They're not,
Nana said.
Listen, little boy. In a few years, you're going to get out of this village and face the world. Not everyone is as kind as your parents, and most nobles are not like Count Lark. Life is hard for the average person and, many times, just plain unfair. Hard work means nothing without luck and opportunity. I'm not telling you this to scare you, but because I don't want you to make the same mistakes I made. You need to wise up, so let me tell you a story. Once upon a time, a mage fallen from grace decided to return to her old village. She wanted to settle down and forget about her failures. At first, people were scared of her, thinking she would abuse her power and authority to settle old feuds. But the mage was too tired and bitter to engage in revenge. She only wanted to live in peace. So she became a medicine woman, tending to the sick and wounded for a fair price. The villagers were really happy, and when they noticed that her arrival made merchants and nobles treat the village with more respect, they became ecstatic. But bad things kept happening from time to time, and the mage had no interest in playing hero. So the people of the village offered her a deal. They would pay her a certain sum in exchange for her help. She accepted, and for a little while, everything was perfect. Then, the villagers decided to change the initial deal. It was true that her presence had helped the village be safer, and that was good for business. However, the fee that they were paying her felt like a burden to them. The county's most important noble had made their village the permanent seat for the local spring festival. But even that wasn't enough to satiate their greed. So, they decided to convince the local farmers that it was in their best interest to help the villagers cover the sum they'd agreed to pay the mage. You may be wondering how they managed that. Well, let's just say they didn't appeal to the goodness of the farmers' hearts. They simply threatened the farmers and told them that they were going to change the exchange rate of their goods to a point that would make their lives miserable. So, the farmers had no choice but to accept their demands. They needed the blacksmith to get tools, the merchant to buy and sell cattle and crops. You can easily imagine the rest. Without the villagers, the farmers were cut off from the rest of the county. By refusing, every single farmer would have to travel for days to buy even a new plow, all while leaving their family and fields unattended.
Leith nodded, anger rising inside him.
Let me guess. According to the new deal, every time the farmers needed the mage's help, they would have to pay a share of the fee. Just like everyone else,
Nana said. She could see the rage and disgust in her disciple's eyes.
Calm down, Leith. I didn't mean to make you angry. My purpose was to show you what normal people, even good people, are capable of. Everyone gets along fine until money is involved. Then, everyone just thinks about themselves. Life is hard for everyone, but it's worse for mages. Common people see us as monsters, and nobles see us as something to control or exploit. Remember, though, the worst betrayal always comes from your own kind. Even in the magical academy, you'll find hidden ranks and hierarchies. The competition will be brutal. The pressure families and teachers put on those poor kids quickly turns them into ferocious beasts. They get measured, judged, and punished for every mistake they make.
Leith was confused.
Are you saying that you want me to go easy on them? To not judge hastily? To try making friends rather than enemies? Gods forbid it. I want you to do the very opposite,
Nana said.
I already told you, you need to wise up. Don't fall for the first nice act someone performs. How do you think they treated me? At first, you'll easily make friends with the students from the lower classes. But as soon as you reveal any talent, you'll only be surrounded by two kinds of people. Those who want to destroy you, and those who want to suck up to you. Stay away from the former, and even further from the latter. Otherwise, you'll end up like me. I naively thought I had lots of important friends until I made one mistake. Then, they pile on you like everyone else, leaving you with nothing.
After she stopped talking, Nana looked tired and bitter. She stared at the floor with watery eyes, seeming to have aged another 20 years in just a few seconds. Leith thought about her words.
I appreciate the advice, and will treasure your words forever. I also want you to know that your story makes me really angry. So here's my plan.
After Nana finished listening to Leith's idea, she laughed heartily, feeling happy again.
That's what I'm talking about. Good boy. You have my permission, but do it only when I'm not here. It would hurt my business otherwise. And if anyone complains or tries something, I'll have your back.
During the following months, Leith had to repeatedly prove his magic skills as a healer until Nana gave him a Tier 2 spellbook. This allowed him to expand his official skill set and be recognized by the people of Lutia as a true healer. This meant that Leith was finally able to enact his plan. Nana wasn't always at her home office. Sometimes she had personal business to attend to, but most of the time it was because she had to do house calls for patients that couldn't move. During those times, she left Leith in charge of everything. Those who could afford it preferred to wait until Nana got back. Leith was only 6 after all, so he didn't seem to inspire much confidence without Nana's supervision. But emergencies happened, so there was always someone desperate enough to ask for his help. His first real patient ended up being Luca, Rizzle's youngest brother. He was just a toddler, so his mother, Lisa, had a terrified expression when she brought him in. Luca was crying desperately, his left arm purple and swollen, bent at an unnatural angle. Lisa laid Luca on the bed and for Leith's help.
It's all my fault,
she said.
I was cradling him in my arms while preparing lunch when he started squirming and fell. Can you heal him? Leith waved his fingers and said, Venire rad tu. A small wisp of light danced around the baby and penetrated his chest. The light spread throughout his body, glowing around his chest and left arm. Leith then said, Venire lakat. The light magic dulled the pain and made the broken bones reattach themselves to the rib cage and the arm. Finally, Leith activated his invigoration breathing technique on the baby. He used the imaging it provided him to make sure that the bones were perfectly healed and aligned. He had a broken arm and cracked ribs, but he's good as new now, he said. Luca was still crying, but he was moving both arms now. His skin was pink, with no traces of bruises. Lisa sighed in relief, thanking Leith as she handed him the money. It was 4 copper coins, Nana's usual fare. Enough for a family of 4 to eat well for one day. Leith took only 2, which was the amount she would have paid without the village's protection tax. Seeing her confused, Leith whispered, I know about the deal with the villagers and I'm not Nana. I protect no one. Also, we farmers need to stick together, right? Please, don't mention this to anyone, or next time I will be forced to charge you the usual rate. Lisa was shocked. She was about to cry with gratitude. Then, can I ask you to check my leg too? It's been hurting for a while and the pain is not getting any better, she said. Is that how little Luca managed to slip away? Leith asked. Yes. A few weeks ago, I took a bad fall while repairing a hole in the roof. At first, it didn't hurt much, and with the baby, we couldn't afford to visit the healer after every small accident. Leith used invigoration again and employed the injury detection spell as a cover. Wow, her leg is completely cracked. It's a miracle she was still able to walk, he thought. After healing her, Leith was conflicted about taking the rest of the money. She reminded him of Alina. All the sacrifices his family had to make to keep Tista alive were always present in his memory. Even if he didn't want to, Leith couldn't avoid empathizing with the daily struggles of his neighbors. He saw them as real people instead of dismissing them as he had done in the past with those he... Luckily, Lisa made the choice for him, handing over the money and leaving before he could say a word. She's someone I deeply respect. Next time she comes, I'll perform the healing while checking up on the leg wound, so she won't have to pay, he thought. Those 4 copper coins were the most money Leith had ever had in his life. Leith's family would have to skip a meal or two to cover that expense. From that day forward, Leith did the same thing with all the farmers, always telling them to keep it a secret. Soon, his reputation grew throughout the village and beyond. On another occasion, when Nana had been called away, another type of patient walked in. His name was Renkin, a merchant, and the richest man in the village. He barged in while his assistant carried his son on a makeshift stretcher. Nana! Where is that old woman when you need her? She's away at the moment, Leith said, making way for the stretcher. The boy was around 15 years old, had black hair and a pale face. He was bleeding profusely from his leg. Where is she? Renkin said. She's tending to the men that were repairing the Colin Bridge. They had an accident. She'll be back in the afternoon at the earliest. I don't have that much time! Leith was annoyed by the attitude. If you're going to be rude, there's the door. If you want me to take care of him... Leith extended his right hand while pointing his left hand at a sign on the wall that said, Payment up front, no refunds. Hey you, what are you, 4? 6.5, Leith said. If you're not willing to pay, get out and make space for real customers. If you want miracles, feel free to pray, but do it outside. All right, Renkin said. Here's your 4 coins. 8, Leith said. That's obviously a deep wound, requiring 2 Tier 2 spells, maybe even a Tier 3. The price for those is 8 copper coins. Leith pointed to another sign, stating the prices. Checkup, 1 copper coin. Tier 1 spells, 2 copper coins. Tier 2 spells, 4 copper coins. Tier 3 spells, 8 copper coins. Those are Nana's prices. You're not Nana. Really? Leith said, mocking him. What gave me away? My age? My gender? You are truly a perceptive man. Renkin was fuming. I meant that you shouldn't ask so much. Didn't your master tell you about our agreement? Leith pointed to the second sign again. At the bottom, in red words, it said, No discounts, ever.
Don't you have a heart? How can you ask so much? You're still young and inexperienced after all.
In all his years as a merchant, Renkin had taken pride in always being able to get the lowest price. He was determined to get a discount at all costs.
Which one of us is bargaining for his son's life?
Leith asked.
I doubt all the healing magic in the world will do him any good once he bleeds out.
Finally remembering his beloved son, Garth, Renkin paid the fee and cleared the way for Leith to do his job.
What happened?
Leith asked, after using Venere Rod 2 alongside Invigoration. He felt a deep wound that had barely missed the femoral artery.
His friend had the brilliant idea to practice their swordsmanship with real swords,
Renkin said.
He's lost a lot of blood,
Leith said after completely healing his leg.
Keep him in bed and make him eat raw meat.
Later that day, Renkin returned to complain to Nana about her disciple. She laughed hard for a whole minute before shutting the door in his face. 2 years passed, and Leith was now 8 years old. During that time, he had mastered all the spells in Nana's books, which meant he was able to perform Tier 3 spells. Books about superior tiers were extremely expensive, and Nana had no interest in acquiring them. She had her own grimoire, after all. The books she had bought over the years were mostly for display, to show her clients what spells they could purchase. So, while his skill in fake magic hit a wall, Leith used that time to better understand true magic. His grasp on its power and foundations had improved greatly. By practicing true magic as a healer every day, he had better control of both light and dark magic. He had finally acquired the necessary skills to get rid of Tista's congenital condition permanently. The problem was that, despite all his efforts, his monocore was not strong enough to perform the treatment Leith had devised. During the last 2 years, he had used assimilation whenever he could, guiding his monocore through multiple cycles of expansion and compression, turning it from dark green to bright green. Unfortunately, it was still green. Leith's impurities had yet to reach his monocore, and until that happened, both his mana and body would not show any qualitative changes. He had reached a bottleneck, and had no idea how to overcome it. Solless had also changed. She was no longer limited to her pebble form, and could now turn into any shape while retaining the same mass. That allowed her to take the form of a stone ring that Leith wore on his right middle finger. When she had asked him why a ring on the middle finger, Leith had replied with an odd poem related to a ring of power. It was based on a story from his childhood on Earth that he was very fond of. Along with some of her powers, Solless had also regained a function that Leith called Soulesspedia. It was another pocket dimension, but this one was reserved specifically for books, maps, and anything to do with knowledge. Leith could consult all the books stored in Soulesspedia with a single thought. For example, by storing his grimoire in there, he didn't need to memorize the magic words and hand signs for the fake spells. Leith still needed to practice the hand signs and pronunciation, but he only had to think about what he needed, and he would recall everything down to the smallest detail. The same applied to maps, herbs, and bestiaries. Leith also gave almost everything he earned as a healer to his family, allowing them to have an easier life and to build a decent dowry for Rena and Tista. Whatever money he kept for himself, he used to buy the most detailed compendiums he could find. He collected many topics like law, court etiquette, and vocabulary. As long as they were in Soulesspedia, Leith knew them inside and out. Also, the fact that he could buy old books that were practically falling apart made him happy. Just like with the other pocket dimensions, these books would be frozen in time and potentially last forever. After his 8th winter on this planet, Leith received a call from Count Lark on Nana's communication amulet, which took him by surprise. The Count had never contacted him before. Thanks to his books, Leith now knew the proper way to address a noble. When Count Lark appeared on the amulet, Leith greeted him with a deep bow.
Dear Leith, you're always so polite. No need for all the formalities. You are among friends now.
Count Lark had a friendly demeanor, making him look more like an uncle calling his nephew rather than a lord.
Count Lark, to what do I owe the pleasure of this call?
Leith said, looking at Nana in search of approval. She nodded.
The reason I'm calling is because you have accumulated a significant number of merits. I wanted to know if you plan on using some of them. Merits were something that anyone who contributed to the welfare of the kingdom would receive and could be exchanged for privileges or commodities. A convict could have his sentence shortened by serving in the military. A farmer could get more land, and a scholar could get a recommendation for a government job.
Merits? Leith said, confused. I didn't do anything to earn such things.
Quite the contrary, dear Leith. Every year I receive hundreds of commendation letters from the farmers and their families about the outstanding job you are performing as a healer. Since Leith started giving treatments for half the price to the farmers, they waited for Nana to leave the village before coming to see Leith and receive medical care. Nana was aware of it and didn't care. They still needed her for emergencies, and the extra fees she charged for house calls covered whatever profit she may have lost.
A letter counts as a way to earn merits?
Leith asked. One letter, no. But hundreds of letters about the same person for a sustained period do. Do you have anything in mind the kingdom can help you with? Leith thought for a moment while he accessed the law book in Sollesspedia. Asking for more land was not a good option. His family was already stretched thin, and they couldn't afford to hire extra help. The kingdom did not trade merits for money, but Leith had an idea.
Do I have enough for my family to be exonerated from paying taxes this year?
Count Lark looked at him in confusion and shock. Your family still pays taxes?
Yes, we are law-abiding citizens, your lordship,
Leith said, almost as confused as the Count. I'm going to kill my accountant, Count Lark said, jumping off his chair, his face red. I told that incompetent fool to exonerate your family since the day Lady Nerea took you under her wing. I swear to the gods, I'll fire that man and give him such bad references that he will never find another job. Leith tried to calm the Count.
Maybe it's for the best. I'd prefer to be exonerated because of my merits, rather than for my status as a magician in training.
The Count sat back and looked at Leith, perplexed. Why? The result is the same. You would get to keep your merits for future needs.
It may seem simple, but it's not, Leith explained. If my family gets exonerated, sooner or later everyone will find out. How they'll react will depend on the reason why we received the exoneration. If it's because of my status, many in the community are going to think it's because of an unfair privilege. That would generate envy and grudges. In such a close-knit community, it could be fatal. Help and support from your neighbors are vital for farmers, and I don't want my parents to live without those. But if I get exonerated because of my merits, it would be something that the community have bestowed upon me, a sign of gratitude for my good deeds. Being able to do this for their benefactor would make them feel happy and prevent them from harboring ill feelings.
During the whole conversation, Leith was inwardly ecstatic, congratulating himself for purchasing the vocabulary book. I can finally talk like I used to back on Earth. The days of me not expressing myself correctly are over, he thought. Magic is indeed the supreme form of art, Count Lark said. Only a magician could be so wise despite being so young. I'm very impressed.
The boy is not only wise beyond his age, but he's also blessed by the light,
Nana said.
He has so much magic talent that he's already invented his own light spells. Leith's skill as a healer is almost at my level when I was his age. He even created some cosmetic spells for his sister. She has the fairest skin I've seen in my life. Of course, this is just between us, dear Count.
Leith was smiling and nodding at Nana's words, but he was actually panicking. Nana seemed to have seen through some of his deceptions. Wonderful, just wonderful, the Count said, jumping off his chair with joy. Thanks for trusting me, Leith. I will keep your secret. After the call ended, Leith stared at Nana, unable to express his feelings out loud. She laughed.
Don't be so shocked. I'm a mage too, after all. When some of your patients come back for a second opinion, I was bound to discover the truth. Some of those wounds were supposed to be beyond your skill. As for your mother and sisters, you just overdid it. Whatever you did, you made them too gorgeous. I commend you for doing it slowly and over time, but whoever knows a thing or two about magic is bound to be suspicious. The Count was bound to notice it as well once Rena and Tista took part in the Spring Maiden contest. It's better to play it this way. Lark is an honest man, the best noble I've ever met. If he thinks you trust him, he will do his best to uphold it. You're still his precious pet project after all. I doubt he would risk losing everything he's invested over such trivial matters.
Leith agreed.
Master, you don't trust me anymore, do you?
Nana laughed.
I barely trust myself, and I'm the only one I can count on in this world.
Leith bowed to her.
Master, your disciple thanks you for your guidance and help. I will take your words to heart.
But the following days, Leith couldn't stop blaming himself for making such a stupid mistake. Damn it! I need to stop thinking I'm always the smartest guy in the room. I can't keep screwing up on the small details. It will be fatal in the long run. Fortunately, having such a cynical master has proved to be a blessing in disguise. We're basically two peas in a pod. She still doesn't suspect a thing, and I have to keep it that way. Having her in my corner can help me grow as a mage and protect me from my own stupidity at the same time. Following his talk with the Count, Leith's family was exonerated from paying taxes in exchange for his merits. As he'd predicted, that caused joy and happiness in the community. They thought they had made that happen for him after all. For a while, everything continued on peacefully. Leith's family and community were well. It was a slow day at Nana's office when a pair of hunters barged in. Each carried another blood-soaked hunter on their shoulders. "A magical beast!" the first hunter shouted. "A magical beast is rampaging through the Tron woods! Please, you have to save my men! That monster almost ripped them apart!"
Please subscribe to the Pocket FM YouTube channel and press the bell icon for instant notification. Check out our channel for more such exciting shows.